well, geeks are the dominant force. When you don't have an iPhone and you don't have gadgetry and you don't understand the internet, you're ostracized. That's so different from when I was a kid, in 1993, 94, 95 in the computer lab at my high school, being like one of two guys in there doing stuff. And to be the football player doing that on the internet was even weirder. And it's just like, it's changing because society evolves. I don't think you can walk out the door and without a catastrophic event like 9/11 or the shootings in Aurora, point to something, put a pin in the map, and change society overnight. And I don't advocate those sorts of events. I think that it's simple. It's trending. It's what Gandhi said. It's just like, first they mock you, then they berate you, then they beat you, and then they win. Or you win. Sorry, I completely butchered that. But I mean,
God will forgive you.
Just stand strong and don't stop and don't give in, and the change will come. And I think that the other part is when you see bullshit, call bullshit. Like just flat out say, no, that's nonsense. That's bullshit. Even if other people around you disagree, even if the majority disagree, when a candle is lit in the darkness, people can't help but look. And it doesn't mean that what you're saying is the light. What it means is that what you're saying is the push. At least people will talk about it. At least conversation will take place. Things like this podcast. I never would have met you fine ladies if it wasn't for this piece I wrote, which got taken so many different directions by so many different places. It was never what I intended. But the conversation, there's no denying it. Doesn't matter how wrong or right it was taken. This conversation is taking place on a scale it's never taken place on before. If I did some good with that, awesome. If I didn't, well, we'll figure that out, and I'll take my lumps. But say what you feel and be honest about it, and never, ever, ever back down in the face of something that is wrong, even if the kid berates you on Xbox Live, or a bully's messing with you in the hall at school, or Tosh says some bullshit from the stage on a comedy show. When something's wrong, call it out and don't back down.
Yeah, just to solidify that I'm totally on board with that. Is the thing is you might be like Anita, you might get persecuted for what you say and for standing up, and it might seem scary to do so, and it might not change anything, and you might get hassled for it, but it might help somebody after you. Whoever comes after you, you're saying something might have made your life worse, but it might have made theirs better. It's just something to consider.
Victoria?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think you said really well. I feel like what Elizabeth said. I think it's really important to remember that society works in ripples and waves, and we can't see exactly which way things are going. But it is important to remember that the media and entertainment, they construct and reflect our identities at the same time. So it's really important to make sure that they don't have to. Not every story has to be positive, but not every story should be negative or in a certain pattern that is embarrassing and negative. And the thing is that a lot of people don't like to accept that they are influenced on a deep and kind of unobvious level by media and entertainment. But that's what is so dangerous, because you don't watch a film and think, I have to go rob a bank now. That Ocean's 11, it seems like a great idea. You don't see what it's doing to you. These tiny little ripples of change affect people. So as Elizabeth said, we have to use every avenue that's open to us to make these little changes, and the ripples turn into waves, and we make a better society, and we make better entertainment, and it will result in better games.
Excellent. Well, I thank you to Victoria and Krista, whom I really can't spend enough time with, and if we lived closer, I'd be over all the time, so you're sick with me. You can find Krista at Kitten, K-I-H-T-E-N, and Victoria at Syrin, S-Y-R-I-N _ on Twitter. And it was lovely meeting you, Elizabeth. Thank you for stepping up to talk to us and put your fate out there for the inevitable trolling. You can find her at Elizabeth Sang. And finally, Joe, who has a really good heart, and even though we might have some differences of opinion at times, I think you're very funny, and I think you really want to make the world a better place for women and men together. So I appreciate you coming on here and helping us see some different perspectives. You can find him at joethepeacock.com. And if you'd like to leave some feedback or keep up with the news, you can find me on Twitter at Gray Area Podcast, at Facebook/Gray Area Podcast, or on iTunes. If you have any gray areas in your relationships or just need a new perspective, email your questions, advice, or suggestions to jennysegray@yahoo.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week with a new episode. And please subscribe if you like it.